You guys are watching the Cowboys Report here on YouTube and on Rumble as well. If you're not already, make sure you're following us over there, rumble.com/CowboysTV. We're going to begin today's show with the Deebo Samuel conversation because it's the number one NFL story, and Deebo linked himself to the Cowboys, right? I'm sure you saw it by now, but Deebo did the thing that the smart players do. Link yourself to Dallas, whether it's real or not, to get hopefully some more leverage in your favor. He liked one tweet yesterday. It was this one, the one of him in a Cowboys jersey. Deebo knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. He knows that if he does want to get moved by to San Francisco, generating the hype is the way to do it. He understood the assignment that we've been through time and time and time again here. Free agency, trades. Get yourself linked to the Cowboys, and you might be able to make yourself just a little bit more or help your situation, whether it's money or trade, a little bit better. Deebo is an awesome receiver. There are injury concerns that I think are valid, but the idea that Deebo Samuel is only a running back is just not true. Before he made the part-time switch to running back, he was putting up awesome receiver numbers. He finished the year with this level of production. If Cooper did that, he might still be here after all, though that's a scheme thing more than anything. And he's also a great runner. I will make note, by the way, the Deebo wants to be in Miami, wants to be closer to home, or wants to be doesn't like the role he was in for San Francisco. I kind of don't buy that at all. This kind of feels like a Niners leak in an effort to make Deebo look worse and get him to stick around in San Francisco a little bit better. But this negotiation has not gone well between Deebo and the Niners. I do think the trade cost would be expensive. Look, Deebo's not the same premier player that I think Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams have been consistently over the past couple of years. But I think the trade value would be pretty similar. I think it's a first and a second, thereabouts, plus or minus one way or the other. Do we really think Dallas would do that? Do we think the Cowboys, who love their draft picks, would trade away 2 firsts for a player who they would then at minimum first and a second, trade those picks and then pay a player probably minimum $25 million, if not $30 million a year, make them the highest paid non-QB in the NFL when they were not even going to do close to that for Amari Cooper? My answer is no. I don't think that's the route that the Cowboys pursue. Could they do it if they wanted to? Of course. They could make that happen. But that's not how the Cowboys have operated. So you can let Deebo get you all bent out of shape if you want, get you down bad later on. I'm not going to fall for it. I'll be happily shocked if we all end up being wrong, but I just don't believe that's what they would do because they haven't done that stuff in forever. So what do you guys think? I want you to be honest with me in the comment section. Percent chance the Cowboys go out and trade for Deebo Samuel. This is the pinned comment on today's video. Let's look at the ad break here on YouTube. Take advantage. Head down there and let me know. Let's talk draft and trade stuff here now. Kyle Hamilton has been linked again to Dallas. Bill Barnwell, in a fun article he does each year, trade-only mock draft. He had the Cowboys going up and mentioned Kyle Hamilton as the potential target for the Dallas Cowboys, which I find interesting. I am a huge Kyle Hamilton fan. I think he is the best player, not factoring in positional value in this year's class. 7 games last year, he was awesome. We all had Hamilton, or almost all of us had Hamilton as a top 5 guy this year. Then he runs a not great 40-yard dash that honestly isn't that much worse than what Derwin James ran. He ran better 3-cone agility stuff than Derwin. And now we're like, Kyle Hamilton's bad. I don't understand it in any capacity. So Hamilton is my number 1 guy. I am willing to be wrong if I end up being wrong on that front. But the film and the athletic testing are all awesome. And he is a highly intelligent player as well. But I want to hear from you guys. Who is your number 1 prospect this year? Now, I love Hamilton. With that said, I would not anticipate the Cowboys being aggressive to move up and go get a safety, especially at this cost. This is the ESPN trade idea here. Cowboys get number 14 with the Ravens in exchange for 24, 56th, and a 5th round pick. Now, that is an overpay by the Dallas Cowboys, and I would be open to moving your second and your first to go get a more premium position player like a stud edge rusher, maybe an offensive tackle who could play guard for you in the short term. Long term is your left tackle. I don't think the Cowboys would do this. I would be over the moon if they got Kyle Hamilton. I just don't think it's a likely path they end up pursuing because safety's not that big of a need. It's really not. Now, it is a bit of a need, but they've got Jaron Kearse and Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. And, hey, maybe Israel Mukuamu is a future piece for you. But that doesn't mean you give up everything to go get Kyle Hamilton, who, again, I love. Given how much I want the Cowboys to invest in safety, I'd probably still be happy with it. But it is an overpay if I'm being objective and not just excited about safety, my number one player this year. The Cowboys Report is also on Rumble, my friends. We've got free and uncensored content on that video platform, so if I drop an F-bomb or two, I don't get in trouble. In addition to the Cowboys Report on Rumble, there's a bunch of different stuff, sports, news, and politics, tech, business, etc. We're trying to grow to platforms you guys use. And right now, unfortunately, the Cowboys Report is losing to both the Giants and our Browns channel, which is brutally disappointing because we have now lost ground against the Giants, and the Browns continue to push past us, which is very, very sad from that standpoint. So help us out. Go follow us on Rumble, rumble.com/CowboysTV. That link will be in the comment section, and it'll be in the description to follow us for free for more uncensored videos. Let's stick with our draft trade conversation here. As I'm sure you guys know, Jerry Jones says he'd like to trade up in the draft this year. Bleacher Report, in one of their articles, one trade for each team, had them moving way, way up. And I don't, in general, love the idea of giving up all your draft picks, but I thought this one was interesting, if not outright kind of crazy / wrong in terms of the trade here. So here was Bleacher Report's trade idea as it relates to the Cowboys moving up. They get number 4 overall from the Jets and a 5th-round pick in exchange for their first this year, their first next year, and 88 overall. That is not that much to give up. Look, I think that this year's draft, it might not be as expensive to move up and acquire a higher pick, but we're really undervalued here as it relates to the actual value of pick number 4. The trade value chart, the updated one based on deals that have happened over the years, is more like 2 firsts, a second, and 2 thirds. So we're off in the end by your 2nd-round pick this year and a 3rd-round pick. That's a pretty big gap in terms of the value. So at the Bleacher Report cost, that idea of your first, another first, and your 3rd, I think I would probably do that. And I would take Evan Neal or Ika Mekwonu. I'd play that guy at left guard, and then I would plug in them at left tackle down the road. I'm kind of filling 2 of my needs, short-term, long-term. It is a lot, but I would have interest in doing that if it actually were that cheap. What do you guys think, though? Why for yes, N for no? Would you trade up into the top 4 at that particular cost? Sound off for me in the comments section. Y for yes and N for no. Like we mentioned, that's below market. I think I'd do it. I think I'd jump on that trade. And I mentioned 2 names in particular, Evan Neal, Ika Mekwonu. There are some other ones I think you could consider, assuming Trayvon Walker and assuming Aiden Hutchinson are off the board already. You could maybe go after Kyle Hamilton. It's a bit rich for me. If you are panicking on Kelvin Joseph, you could go get Ahmad Gardner or Kayvon Thibodeau. I would take one of the tackles because my number 1 need is left guard. And one of those guys I would assume would be there at number 4 for you. And you also take the Giants away from getting one of those premium young players. So it's not much to move up, relatively speaking. The Jets probably wouldn't do it, but I'd consider it. Now, if you want free daily Cowboys videos, hit that big red button and subscribe. We are moving closer to 127,000 subscribers here. Free videos and weekly live shows every single day. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Finally, some Dorance Armstrong hype conversation, etc. here. Stephen Jones has praised Armstrong, saying his production was close to Randy Gregory's. And if you only look at sacks, sure, I think that part is accurate. Impact-wise, well, we call him Catboy for a reason. I know I saw a lot of people mad at Stephen Jones for that comment. And I've been plenty mad at Stephen in the past couple of years here. I didn't think this was that bad of a statement. I'll explain why once we read the full quote. Stephen Jones, quote, "We hated to lose Randy. We went down to the wire with him. But at the same time, you look at production. Look at what Dorance Armstrong has done. He's right there from a production standpoint with Randy. The reason why I'm not that mad about this, because the Cowboys don't believe that. Their actions show they don't believe that. If they thought it was really super close between Randy and Dorance Armstrong, they would have just not tried to pay Randy. They would have simply said, okay, we'll just pay Dorance Armstrong half of the cost. This is just spin, and that's okay. It is okay for it to be spin, trying to prop up your young guy. And you know what? I want Dorance Armstrong to have another breakout year. He was way better this year than what he was the previous 2 seasons. That is a big deal for me and for the Dallas Cowboys. That's a big thing. So I want Dorance Armstrong to have that big-time breakout step-forward season. Is it going to happen? I'm going to try to speak it into existence. But I'm also not mad at Steven for trying to prop up the guy on the Cowboys roster. Now, maybe you would have said, well, he's young, there's upside, I haven't seen the best from him, but I also wouldn't expect Steven to say, yeah, we had to panic and sign Armstrong. Like, got to also be realistic, even if there are plenty of things to be mad about when it comes to the Cowboys and Stephen Jones.